Good afternoon. Welcome to Lehigh County County Authority Board of Director meeting. Today is Monday, February 9th, 2026. The meeting has been held in the hybrid fashions, either live or via Zoom or the phone. The agenda for today's meeting and the documents was sent to via mail or emails, and also posted online for this meeting. Lisa, do you mind going a roll call for the board of directors?
Sure thing. Roll call of the board. Amir Famili.
Here.
Jeff Morgan.
Here.
Ted Lyons.
Here.
Heather Rosenfeld.
Here.
Kevin Baker. Sean Ziller.
Here.
Peter Dunn.
Here.
We have 6 board members present, so we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Reviewing the agenda, Lisa, any changes on the agenda, any need for executive sessions?
We do have an executive session scheduled to follow the regular meeting, and that's for discussion with the solicitor. And I think the only potential change is the customer bill dispute hearing, item number 3 has not arrived yet, although it looks like maybe he's entering the room now. So our customer is here, so we can keep that on the agenda now. No other changes.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. And so the first item on our agenda for today is customer bill dispute hearing. Attorney Reed, would you mind leading that effort, please?
Thank you. So good afternoon. Today is February 9th. It is approximately 12:03. My name is Kevin Reed. I'm a practicing attorney in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I'm also serving as the hearing officer for today's hearing, which is a customer bill dispute hearing before the Board of Directors of Lehigh County Authority. First, want to make sure everyone can hear us. Mr. Lewis, you're here today. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Accurately? Okay. And everyone else, including board members on video, you can hear me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. So Mr. Lewis has requested this hearing as it is right before the board. He's present. I will take notice that initially this hearing was scheduled for January 26th. Notice was given to Mr. Lewis on January 7th. However, that hearing was postponed due to inclement weather and postponed to today's date, and all parties are present. I want to explain a couple things about the hearing process so everyone is clear of how we're going to proceed here. So my role as hearing officer is to oversee the hearing. The hearing is being held in accordance with LCA rules, and it gives Mr. Lewis here an opportunity to seek redress beyond what he's already sought at the administrative level. In other words, he has the opportunity to appeal if he didn't like the administrative decision, which is what he's done here today. The hearing is solely focused on a bill in question, is a customer bill dispute. The hearing is being recorded. So to assist with that recording, if you could speak up, speak clearly, and do your best not to speak over another person so it's easier for the recording to decipher what is being said by whom. Now I want to talk a little bit about the board's role. The board's role, seated here and also on Zoom, is to give both the administration and Mr. Lewis an opportunity for a full and fair hearing with regards to this dispute. After hearing the evidence and testimony that's been presented, the board will ultimately be the fact finders and make a determination and decision with regards to the dispute itself. As far as the hearing, I would ask that the participants in the hearing, of course, be patient, courteous, and respectful to one another. and to stay on topic. The topic is the billing dispute of a property located at 747 Lombard Street in Allentown. I would note that the board has no foreknowledge of the dispute. So they come in unaware. All they know is that there is a dispute. They don't know the nature of the dispute, and they will ultimately be the sole trier of the fact and make a determination on the outcome of the appeal. A few more things before we actually get into the hearing, so everyone is clear. With regards to any questioning or evidence, to the extent that there's something I have to rule on, I will pause. I ask that you stop. I'll make my ruling, and I'll explain to you the purpose of whatever ruling I may make if I make a ruling. So how are we going to proceed? The format of the hearing is that both sides will have an opportunity to make a presentation, offer any evidence, whether that's testimonial or documentary evidence. And the order in which we will go is the administration will first go and explain what their side or their position is with respect to this particular property. After they have presented, Mr. Lewis would have an opportunity to ask any questions. The board would have an opportunity to ask any questions of the administration. And to the extent I need to clarify the record, I may ask a few questions as well. After that's done, the administration would what we call rest their side of the case. Then Mr. Lewis, you would have an opportunity to present your side of the case. You can make any statement that you wanted to make, or offer any other evidence or testimony at that time. And then the same process would happen. After you finish your side of the case, the administration could ask you any questions. The board could ask you any questions. And to the extent that I need to clarify the record, I may ask you some questions. And then after all of the evidence has been set forth, we will do what I call as close the record. The record would be closed. Ultimately, the board will meet in private without the parties, without the administration, without you. They can have me as the hearing officer to the extent that they have any questions regarding the law, but they're actually making a determination on the facts. That session, as I said, will be private. We will not have a decision today, but a decision ultimately would be, a written decision would be submitted to both parties. So that's the process. Are there any questions about the process before we get started? Mr. Lewis, any questions about the process?
No.
Okay. Any questions from the administration about the process? Okay. So we're going to start. And what we're going to do is now it's for the administration. First, I'm going to have you identify yourself for the record. Give us your name and your position, and then you can present a case with either a statement or any evidence that you have. So, want to start?
Sure. My name is Brooke Navy. I'm the Director of Customer Care here at LCA. I'm going to actually start with a little handout for everyone.
You have a copy for Mr. Lewis?
Yeah, and hello, Mr. Lewis.
Hello. Yes, hello.
You're welcome. Okay, so again, my name is Brooke Newby. I am the Director of Customer Care here at LCA. We are talking about the property of 747 North Lumber Street in Allentown, account number 40590. What you have in front of you is a summary of everything that has been billed and penalized from January 22nd, 2025, when this account had a zero balance due through today, actually. And we have a balance due to us of $1,679.75. So just a little background of our process. So we read at the end of each month, we bill on the 15th of the month, the following month. So on the 16th of that following month, the day after the due date, we would charge our first penalty. 23 days later, we charge an additional 5% penalty. And 60 days from the original due date, we charge another 1.5% penalty. That's stated on the back of our bills. Everybody is aware of that. That is our process. So, at this point in time, our position is that the water has been utilized and consumed and billed, and we are expecting the payment in full of the $1,679.75.
Is there any other documents or any other evidence that you wish to present?
No.
Mr. Lewis, this is your time to ask any questions about the document. You'll have a point later to make any statement that you want to have to state your position, but now you're kind of focusing in on what was just offered as evidence. So do you have any questions about this particular document?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Board members, this would be an opportunity to ask any questions of the administration with regards to this document or the testimony that's been provided. Any questions from the board? I see no questions here. Any questions from the board on Zoom? See Mr. Baker has joined us. Okay, very well. Yes, all right.
There is a comment in the chat that the board members who are online are asking for a screen share of the handout. I don't have that on this computer available, but it was emailed to the board members directly for this meeting.
Okay.
So that they should have it to be able to view. From
Okay,
wherever
thank
they
you.
are.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Go
I do just have one question.
ahead, Mr. Zola, go ahead.
Yep. And maybe this is, I don't want to say far afield, but just related for the charges. Obviously, there's I would presume, a monthly statement, and then, the penalties that are accrued, as most bills are. I'm guessing LCA doesn't send out a notice every time a penalty is accrued, but it is baked into this original statement, acknowledging that if a delayed payment occurs or lapse of a payment, that accrual will occur in interest.
We do send notices along with our penalty charges as well. So there is each time a notification related to the penalties.
Thank you.
Question from Mr. Mill. Go ahead.
So the meter here, how old is the meter and when has been serviced as far as the accuracy of the meter?
I do not know the age of the meter. It would most likely be accurate at this point in time. Usually if a meter is older, they read slower, which benefits the customer at the home, but I don't know the age of the meter.
Any other questions from the board and as follow-up to other board member questions? Okay, hearing none. All right, I have no questions. So we're now at the point in time, Mr. Lewis. Well, let me say this, administration, just to confirm, you've rested your side of your case and you don't have anything else to present. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Lewis, we're now on your side of the case. So you have an opportunity to make a statement and or offer any evidence that you have to the contrary of what's been provided. Go ahead.
I would say, good afternoon. Thank you very much for allowing this hearing. I am the owner of 747 North Lombard Street. And the reason for this committee is not to argue or dispute these charges. In regards to my finances, I had a setback while handling the property and coming with compliance issues with the city. And what I'm asking for is a realistic way to catch up without service interruption.
Okay. Any questions from administration to Mr. Lewis? Any questions from the board, to Mr. Lewis?
I have a question.
Yes,
So,
Mr. Morgan.
has your water been shut off? And if so, how many times?
It has not been
Okay.
shut off.
Okay.
Has any offer been made as to how you might be able to catch up?
No.
Nothing.
Any other questions from the board? We'll get, an opportunity for administration after the board has.
You are not disputing the usage that you have had printed in this paper, is that correct?
That is
That
correct.
is the correct amount that you have used.
That is correct.
Any other questions from the board? Any follow-up, Sean? Okay, go ahead,
Yep.
Sean.
Just as a follow-up to a prior question, there was no offering of a payment plan or anything of the like.
No.
Anything further from the board?
You reside at this property?
No, I do not have a tenant.
Anything further from the board? In follow-up to Mr. Lewis's presentation and the board questions, is there anything further from administration?
Is it okay for me to?
Certainly identify, so for the record.
Sure. My name is Liesl Gross. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Lehigh County Authority. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Lewis. During the course of communication with the customer, at no time did we receive a request for a payment plan or any relief other than a full vacation of the amount due. So the request that we received was to have the balance be dropped to zero. And to that, we denied that request. We were not requested to provide a payment plan, but a payment plan is something that Lehigh County Authority routinely does offer and would have offered upon request.
Is there anything further from the board as far as questions?
Liesl, just following up on the payment plan question, this is more of a logistical operational question. Is the payment plan in terms of the statements they get every month, or in turn, because now I know that you do statements when accrual of interest is applied for late payment, and any documentation, statements or otherwise, is there an option to follow up on a payment plan? Is it clear to a customer who gets a statement that if you're unable to pay, the full amount here's your option in writing for a payment plan?
Yes, I can respond to that, and Brooke can provide additional detail if needed. All of our communication with the customer about our collections procedure includes an offer for customers to contact us to talk about their situation. Whether a payment plan is specifically called out as an offering in each communication is likely not on every communication, but it is on every communication that they should contact our office to talk about their options if they have difficulty paying. We also offer a hardship grant program for customers that are having difficulty paying, and that is included in communication as well.
Mr. Lewis, do you have any further information? As I understand it, your position is that you're not disputing the charges. However, you're looking at an alternative payment plan in which to make your responsibility whole over a period of time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything further?
No.
Okay.
Kevin, I have one more question
Yes.
for Mr. Lewis. So do the bills come to you in Easton, or do they go to the address for the tenant?
It goes to Easton.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right. At this point in time, I'm going to close the record. We've heard the positions of both parties. As I understand it, the administration is seeking payment of the balance as has been presented in what we will label as LCA Exhibit Number 1. As I understand the customer position is not disputing the charges, however, is looking for some sort of payment plan to bring the account current. As I indicated previously, the board is a sole trier of fact. They will meet in private without the presence of either of the parties. I can be in the hearing I can be in that private session as a hearing officer to address any legal questions. And at this point in time, the hearing is closed.
I have one more question.
Certainly.
When you without a tenant in this, like from August to November, the charges actually went down quite a bit. Was it the same tenant?
There was an issue with the property and I fixed it, and that's what led me to have a hardship. So you can see it drop down in price, but I was still trying to recoup from the.
Okay,
fix.
but you had the same tenant over that length of,
Oh, yes, she's been there for many years.
So at this point in time, what we're going to do, Mr. Lewis, the record's going to be closed. There will be a prior session in which the board meets and makes a determination. A written decision will be ultimately prepared and sent out to the parties. That decision will not be available today. We're going to close the hearing. You are under no obligation to stay for the rest of the board meeting, but you're also welcome to stay as well and hear the remainder of the business for the board.
Okay,
Thank you for appearing today.
thank you very much for hearing me. All of you, thank you.
And with that, the hearing is closed and I will turn this back to the chairman for the rest of the business of the day for which we had one. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
I don't know how to approach this. Speak.
Yes, ma'am, can you identify your name?
My name is Gail Seymour. I'm the resident of Lehigh County. I came to the meeting because I have a problem regarding Lehigh County Authority. I don't want to go into great detail. I don't want to trouble you. I don't know how this works or anything, but I do need some information as to who to speak to over the supervisor that I had already spoke with at the Lehigh County Authority on Martin Luther King. I need to know, who do I go to next, because there's a problem and I need to have it resolved, if you would. It's a lot of contradictory statements and I'm not comfortable as an elderly citizen of the county.
I'm going to turn over to CEO.
Yes, thank you for coming and raising your concern. You're absolutely at the right place because we have Brooke Neebe here, who is the Director of Customer Care, and all of the customer care team that you may have spoken with in the past report to Brooke, and she'll be able to help you with whatever your concern is.
Okay, and if we can't resolve it, do I go to you next?
Yes.
Thank you. Could I have both of your cards?
Do you want to, we can go to my office right now if you'd like to speak about specifically what's happening.
Thank you. And I would also get your card.
Brooke can give you my information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I am turning it back over to you for the rest of the business of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Going to our agenda for today, I think the next item on our agenda is our approval of our January 6th board meeting.
move that the minutes be approved.
I'll second.
Thank you. The motion made by Linda, second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
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 No, okay, the minutes approved. Yes.
Chairman. I just wanted to state for the record that Kevin Baker came in at 12:04. So he was here for the full
Okay,
course of the hearing and our action items.
okay, thank you for that statement, appreciate that. Any public comment?
No comment, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Going to the action items, there is no obviously committee reports that we need to cover today. The first item is the resolution number 1-2026-1, authorizing the statewide local share assessment grant application for equipment purchase is on green papers, digital pages, page 5 to 6.
This one I hope is somewhat straightforward. This is actually a revision of a prior resolution that the board had authorized previously back in October, I believe it was. Lehigh County Authority applied for a local share assessment grant in November, and in the review of the documents by the agency that reviews these applications, they asked for an adjustment to the language of the resolution to more clearly describe the project, which is in the third whereas. And the grant program, or the grant, if awarded, would be used for the purchase of various vehicles and equipment that will go toward our valve replacement project.
Thank you, so. Ms. Reed, do you mind, Secretary, to read the resolution, please?
Certainly. This is resolution number 1-2026-1. It's authorizing the submission of Pennsylvania State Local Share Assessment Grant, designating Lehigh County Authority officials to be authorized to execute all documents and agreements in connection with the requested grant, and other miscellaneous matters.
Okay. Thank you. So moved. Thank you, Linda.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Linda, second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none.
Does Sean have a question?
Yeah, I just,
Go ahead, Sean, I'm sorry.
well, maybe if we're past the vote part, it doesn't change how I feel about it. Just two clarifying questions, if I may, to Liesl. Liesl, can you remind me, is there a match here for this grant?
Chris, do you remember?
There is not. What there is there was an estimation of project cost upwards of $1 million, and the expectation is that if they give us 600,000, we would backfill the 400,000. So ultimately, it would be up to us to kind of fill the back end of the grant that we may or may not get approved of.
Okay. And then my second question, in that third whereas paragraph, we have no concerns about the including but not limited to language.
In the fourth line where it says including but not limited to the various pieces of equipment, is that what you're asking, Sean?
Correct, if just the CFA is going to.
Yeah. This language was prepared by our grants consultant and reviewed by the agency that is reviewing the application. So we feel this language is acceptable.
I figured, but I just wanted to ask. But so yes, I'm a yes on that, by the way.
Thank you.
My apologies, Sean, my head is down on the paper when we don't see your hand, so if I miss you, please
No
speak
worries.
up. Jeff has the advantage of having a monitor in front of him to see that, so. Next item on the agenda is LCA strategic plan. It's a progress report, is the blue pages, digital board package, page 7 to 14. Lisa?
Yes, all right, so this is a holdover from our prior meeting that got shrunk because of the snowstorm. So you've seen this information a couple of times now. I will share my screen with a little bit of a presentation to go through the items, but basically tracking what's shown in the handout on the blue sheets or in the board packet. So this is an annual progress report basically for the year of 2025 and how we did on our stated goals for 2025, and then to give you a look at what we've set out for ourselves for 2026, which is quite a lot. We have a lot of good work going on right now, and happy to share some results with you. Our strategic plan, some of you were on the board at the time when it was adopted in December of 2021. We did set it out as a 5-year plan, so we're pretty far into it at this point. As a reminder, our strategic plan does include a mission statement, a vision statement, and 6 priority areas that we're focused on. And I like to think of it as a holistic approach where the mission is the core thing that we do. The vision is the thing that we're shooting for, which is to be a trusted and engaged community partner, advancing the vitality of our region through our services. And then these 6 priority areas are really how we get there, how we achieve that mission, how we achieve that vision. Every year we go through a process where we're looking at all of the priorities, all of the strategies, and anything new that has occurred since the last time we set goals for ourselves. You can see on this screen, I don't expect you to be able to see it, but a lot of detail in terms of strategies as well as measures within our strategic plan. And we take that all together and try to formulate 5 or 6 or maybe 7 priority areas that we're focused on for the year ahead. And that's how we go about setting our goals for the year. So for 2025, we had selected 6 areas, and then we had a kind of a catch-all other priority project category, and 33 specific targets within our goals that we wanted to achieve. And the pie graph or donut graph you see on the right shows by color, roughly 25% of the tasks or the targets are completed. Another 25% or so are started and are ongoing. Those are things that will continue probably for the foreseeable future. There are a number of items shown in the yellow that are started, but a little bit behind schedule. And then there's just a small number of items that are not started or deferred in some way. I'll give you a little bit of a highlight. I'm going through this rather quickly, but at any point you want to learn more, hear more, just stop me and throw a question at us. There's a lot of people in the room who participated in making all these things happen this year. So a few of our major achievements, really proud to say we got the bondholder issue resolved, which allows us to receive and accept PennVest grants as well as loans for our projects in the city. That was a big achievement for us. We also spent a lot of time in the fall working with the board and our internal teams on staffing approaches for in-house project work, and we're going to be implementing that in 2026. We submitted our Regional Act 537 plan to DEP after getting all 15 municipalities to approve it. That was a great achievement for us. We've had some really great new hires. I just had to throw that in there. We've been very successful in bringing some great new talent to LCA, and that's helped us along the way as well. AJ Capuzzi and his team have been working on some new approaches to help with project schedule. And we've been hearing about some of that at our meetings, doing things like advanced procurement, those sorts of things. That's been helping us a lot too. We got to our July 1st date of go live for the Munis project. Huge team effort to make that happen. We removed 611 lead service lines in the city of Allentown, primarily in-house with our own teams, and got our lead compliance sampling completed. We also, this is more of an internal piece, but developed a digital employee onboarding process. So new employees, we're doing a lot of hiring, can do all their paperwork online instead of on paper. I guess we can't call it paperwork anymore. The asset management program is beginning to blossom and grow, and an asset management plan was developed in-house by our own teams for the water plant this year, which followed completing the wastewater plant the year prior. We did an update to our emergency response plan and drilled it this year with the team. And all of this is possible because employees are stepping up all over the place. And just really, really proud of the whole team for all of these major achievements. There are things that are still in progress from our list of 33 items, as well as just a small number that are deferred. So I'll start with the deferred items. The 2025 goal was to do a full strategic plan refresh, and we deferred that in favor of working on the staffing plan. And so whether we get to that this year or just go with the 2027 timeframe we originally thought of, that is an open question. Our computerized maintenance management system needs an upgrade, and that is tied to the inventory module with Munis, and that was not completed. We'll be deferring that and working on a plan for that this year. And then we spent a lot of time working on safety this year, but did not implement safety drills. We did emergency response plan testing, but the safety drills themselves, we did not get to. And then on the right, there's a fairly lengthy list of items that are ongoing work in progress type items. They should sound pretty familiar to you. A couple of highlights, I would say, are related to the building optimization plan. We expect to have that completed in the first quarter or so and be able to present something this year to show what we're doing with all of our buildings and workplace improvements. The pretreatment plant long-term plan is an ongoing topic we had hoped to bring to resolution last year. We're not there yet, but hope that we will get there and have a decision in 2026. Sort of paired with that is the intermunicipal agreements with the Kleins Island Sewer System signatories. Really need to spend some time working on those. A lot of other items listed here that are internal, our safety program, shoring that up, our training and development plan, continuing along the pathway for our asset management plans. So a lot of work that we've started and will be continuing, kind of building into our ongoing way that we operate. Before I move on to 2026 goals, I'll just do a quick stop on this on 2025 if there are any questions on those.
Just a quick question on the training and development. You had made some progress, like reaching out to the colleges and getting summer help and things like that, right?
Yeah.
That was something you had worked on the last couple of years and you made some movement on, right?
Absolutely. We've made a lot of movement on training and development, and the internship program was a big one, and getting that up and running 2 years ago. We're in our third year now. This particular item also has to do with staffing. We have an open position for a learning and development coordinator, and that's open position. So when that person comes on board, we think we'll have more of a robust framework for that. Sean has his hand up.
Go ahead, John.
Yep, thank you. And this is not necessarily a 25 or now 26 question, but really farther down in the future. And Lisa, I know you also made us aware via email about the Eli Lilly announcement, but I know as part of that is significant funding from the Commonwealth to, I think, L-Tri-C for, greater kind of workforce development, technical training. Do you feel like we'll be able to maybe in this vein and bouncing off of Jeff's question, kind of tie into that in the future?
I love that idea, Sean. I've just read about that in today's paper too. So how that all fits together, I really don't know, but certainly L-Tri-C could be or should be a partner in our operator training. I think they also do offer some work already on SCADA and programming for our systems. So yeah, there's definitely opportunity to build that partnership. Thank you. So looking ahead at our 2026 priorities, there's some new things I'm going to share here. that are outlined in the handout that you have. Really trying to focus on building some internal infrastructure for the things we want to achieve in the future. And the first area is focused on regional leadership. In this category, we're really going to be spending time talking and thinking about what our brand is, how we develop trust with customers and community leaders, and leveraging that to help us move the ball forward on key issues like the pretreatment plant, like the intermunicipal agreements, and really taking a focused approach to developing that leadership within the region. The next one relates to technology, and we need to do a new technology master plan. We're overdue for that anyway, but also then under the lens of what we learned in implementing the Munis project, what's the change management strategy as technology evolves, and how do we keep pace with what's happening in the technology arena? It's becoming more and more of a pressure point for us, and so many opportunities for us to leverage technology. So that's going to be a strong area of focus for 2026. Another one is the facilities and security aspect, and really making sure that our employees have a safe and healthy place to work, and that we have room for all of our new employees, and understand what we're going to do with the Brookside Road property. We're looking forward to having the building optimization plan done soon, so we can present that and move forward. Also doing some standardization of our workplaces and security systems. Regarding affordability, that was on the list of items that are ongoing or work in progress. We have kicked off late last year a long-term rate forecasting project, and looking at what our rates will be in the future as the capital program expands into the future. But having that financial analysis is one thing. We also need to get input from customers about affordability and what's working or not working, and trying to find some ways to improve how we provide services to our customers. Our lead program, we're going to be talking about that for the next 12 years. And so it's always going to be a priority until we get all those lead pipes out of the system. Our focus for 2026 is internal and external communication, really getting the inventory nailed down as close as we can to reduce the number of unknown service lines. The unknown service line in our inventory, that's really driving the uncertainty around cost. So once we have a better inventory, we'll know better how to flesh out the program for the next 10 years. Employee safety is always going to be on the list. We've started working on better tracking of incidents and reporting of incidents, and we need to spend a little more time in 2026 focusing on root cause and trend analysis, and then some other items about personal protective equipment, as well as standardizing our onboarding process for new employees related to safety. It all gets down to what's our safety culture? How do we really enhance that within the workforce? Last but not least, we heard a great presentation from AJ a couple meetings ago about capital project and performance, and how we're measuring that and trying to improve timeliness and on budget type metrics related to project delivery, and trying to formalize or finalize the reporting that we do internally and for the board. And also then make sure that we're using the tools, fully implementing the Procore system for all projects, and doing some root cause analysis on project schedule delays. It's a lot that we have set out for ourselves. I want to acknowledge many of the people in this room and others who helped to develop the 2026 goals and priorities, and gaining internal buy-in for these, as well as many other things we're trying to achieve in 2026. Happy to have discussion or answer any questions.
Any question from board member?
Yes, I was looking on the safety on your handout, and I saw you had 11 OSHA recordables, I guess, in 2025. Were there any reportables?
What do you mean by reportables?
I mean, recordable.
Recordables?
Well,
Oh.
I know recordable is someone with the lost time, basically. Reportable is a much more severe. It would be like death or amputation, loss of an eye. I forget what all they are, but they're more severe.
So the recordable injury would be basically categorized as an injury that is above and beyond normal first aid treatment. So you went to a doctor, he gave you a prescription for drugs to help you for pain, or you had stitches, et cetera, or they put you, or it could go in terms of restrictions for work. You can go back to work, but you got to be restricted. That would be what we would call a restricted recordable. It can get even worse where you're not allowed to come back to work. You're on no duty at all. You're at home. That would be lost time recordable. And then it gets worse beyond that into death and dismemberment.
We have no reportables, like the death dismemberment, that's.
No.
Yeah, there are two different categories with OSHA. I'm familiar with both of them, and they should be posted on the somewhere for the OSHA 300 form needs to be posted for 3 months as of February 1st. And I just saw the recordable. I just didn't see any reportables. I assumed it was 0, and it sounds like it was, but.
So for us, we are not obligated to file an OSHA form. We are not under regulation of OSHA yet, that it will be coming down the road. So when that day comes, we will be doing all the critical data that we have presented to you. We will be doing that and supplying that to OSHA as well.
Thank you.
The other thing on safety to note is that we will be presenting a year in review at the next meeting. Is that correct, Ed?
We will be doing a PowerPoint presentation on safety, the next board meeting, where you will see some of the metrics that we're talking about today. And you'll also get to see some of the other I think contributing factors. Also take a look at what we're doing and some of the initiatives that we've undertaken and expect to undertake, so.
Any other question from the board member? Thank you, Lisa, for presentation. Moving to the next item on the agenda under wastewater. It is Suburban Division in Industrial Treatment Master Plan. This is only a discussion.
Yes, and I think we can make this one very short. I have almost nothing new to share. We're keeping this on the agenda once a month so we can make sure that we're kind of keeping on top of the discussion and knowing where things are in terms of finding cost-sharing partners. But at this point, we are still in discussion with Upper Macungie Township and the County of Lehigh and helping them to make their decisions about that. And we don't have anything definitive to share about that at this point.
Thank you. It's a good idea to keep it. So it's a critical issue that we have to make a decision and have it on the agenda. It's an excellent idea. I'm moving to the next item on the wastewater division items is the Allentown division. It's the Klein Island Holistic Solid Management Study. It's in yellow pages, digital pages 15 with 51.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I spoke over your introduction. Steve Boone, who have met before, he's our asset management engineer. Take it away.
Will do. Thank you. This way I'm not shouting at the back of Andrew's head. We're calling this the Kleins Island Wastewater Treatment Plant Holistic Solids Management Study. We are preparing for an increase in organic loadings at Kleins Island as a result of the scope of treatment changing at the pre-treatment plant in the near future. So I think one of the last times you saw me, I was actually here requesting authorization for the chemically enhanced primary treatment. We began that demonstration at Klein's Island in November of this past year. And we have about a month and a half of trial period for that. And what that's doing is taking more solids out of the liquid stream. And if we do implement this permanently, then those increased solids that will be arriving at the solids management processes, which include digestion and dewatering, are going to need to be accounted for and accommodated. So we've had some studies, but we need a robust study that results in alternatives, recommendation, concept design, conceptual level design, and a robust implementation and phasing plan so that the treatment processes remain operational without any interruptions, because we're talking about improvements to the digesters and the dewatering systems and how those piece together in a timely fashion so that we are ready for these increased loadings. We need to study that in detail. So this was a competitive proposal process. We sent out a request for proposals to 3 of our trusted partners who are experts in this field. AECOM, Black and Veatch, and Hazen and Sawyer. Black and Veatch was our selection that we have chosen. They've been working with us in the past, recently have done excellent work, on time, under budget, high quality. And so our review committee, AJ, Andrew, and others are asking for authorization of their professional services, which is the largest component of the capital project authorization. So I'll pause there for questions.
Any question from the board member?
I do. I'm assuming the BOD levels that you're talking about have not gone through the pre-treatment plan.
So this would be a result of loadings that are currently treated by the pretreatment facility, which are no longer going to be. So it would be bypassing.
That's what I meant.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Correct.
that we're taking over that part of what pre-treatment
It would be
doing.
it would be in our collection system without pre-treat and arriving at Klein's Island. Yes.
Any other question from the board member?
Just a comment. I think this is a really good idea. We just recently completed a similar study. One of my other clients, much smaller plant, but so the price to me is really good for Klein's Island. So I think it's good just to look at all kinds of things with sludge disposal, land application and PFAS and all that good stuff, drawing, all of those things in addition to treating what's coming in. So I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff.
So for this study, you have to provide the input of when you add chemicals to do fluctuations. What is the percent solid that you were able to remove up front so they can go to the analysis?
Yeah.
To see how confident you are. Have you laddered your chemical enhanced fluctuations that they be able to input that in their analysis?
Yeah, absolutely. So we ran a month and a half of the chemicals. We're using ferric. Our typical precept solids was 3.5%. Very quickly, it became evident that we could run this at 4.5 to 5%. So the increase was marked, and we can control that. And this, that was just on the initial trial dose. So that data is sound. Our engineer for that project we'll have a draft report that will be available to this engineer as part of there. But yeah, I think the data set is comprehensive enough to date, even if we weren't going to do the trial again in the shoulder season, which we are.
Does the Eli Lilly plant coming 2 years, 3 years down the road, whenever it is, what impact could have in what you're doing today? I'm just trying to see or we need to push the amount of fluctuations that it help us when Eli Lilly comes, because they would have some beauty and so on and so forth as well, too.
So part of the fact-finding effort that Black and Veatch will perform would be exactly that, taking into consideration, and Jeff mentioned too, PFAS, other regulatory considerations. So what are the future conditions? What do they look like from a comprehensive perspective? That will be part of it. Absolutely.
Thank you. Any more questions? So we have the authorization in front of us for the amount of $245,788 for Klein's Island Holistic Solid Management Study.
I'll make a motion.
Okay?
I'll second Sean.
So Jeff made the motion and Sean made the seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, passed. Thank you. Very good work.
Thank you.
Moving to the next item is the Allentown Division, Klein's Island Plastic Media Trickling Filter Change Order number 2, I believe. It's the pink pages, digital package, page 52 to 62.
Okay, and Amy Rohrbach's gonna present this. Change order, just to refresh your memory, change order number 1 was to remove and coat these steel girts that went around the circumference of the tank and basically provided containment for the corrugated fiberglass walls. This is a second change order for more structural repair work that Amy's going to explain.
Thank you,
Take it
Chair.
away.
Thanks for clarifying, because I was like, this looks so familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this first slide is pretty much the same slide as last time, except for it says 1, 2 instead of 1. But just before I get into the change order, I just want to give you a status update of where we are with this project. So as you recall, this was a rehab of the existing trickling filter. We removed all the old media and the FRP panels that encase the structure. We had our engineer do their structural evaluation, and that's where they found that other change order that I came for. Our contractor is now in the process of installing the new media. They have, there's 16 levels of media. They're stacked up like Legos kind of, and they don't interlock. They just sit on top of each other, but there's 16 layers and they have 7 layers completed. So they're just about halfway there. They should be completed by the end of February with all the media installation. And then they will install, there's a top grid layer that goes on that's able to be walked on. And then they'll reinstall the rotating arms. And then we should have, the final last minute repairs completed and be back online by March 15th is the goal. So that we can get this back up and running. So that's just a little summary of where we are. Thought you might be interested. And then today I'm here for another structural repair. During the demolition, as you can see, we found that some of the existing welds had failed on that top perimeter angle piece. The picture on the far right shows the piece of angle that goes all the way around the perimeter. And as you can see, the other 2 pictures show the section that fell down. When they were removing those corrugated panels, that was what was kind of holding up that piece at that point. And when they removed one, a piece did fall down. Thankfully, no one was injured. It did not hit anybody. So fortunately, no one was hurt, and they stopped work right away. And we had them they did a temporary tie with some braided steel pieces that they bolted in place to hold those angles in place so they didn't fall when they continued their demolition. So now we need to go back and fix it. So the repair includes some welding and bolting of these steel sections to secure them permanently so they don't fall again. So before you today is this change order. This is change order number 2 to Alan Meyer's contract. And Lisa, if you want to go to the next slide. So the original contract was for $2,190,555. I came before you for that first change order back in December. That was for the coating. That was another $263,142. And today's change order is $73,649.75. To do that welding and bolting. They are going to need to drill some holes to get the bolts to line up with the other steel members. So that work is the 73,000 figure. So the total contract will be $2,527,346.75 when everything is said and done and we add this change order in. This should be the last. Now that demo is complete and we know everything now, this should be the last change order for this project, barring any acts of God. There are some other structural repairs that were identified needed for this structure, but we are going to do them under an indenture project and not as part of this project, since they don't need to be done to finish the work at hand right now. So that's the change order being requested today. Any questions?
Thank you. Any question for Amy? Just a quick question from my end. I'm glad that thing did not fall on one of them.
Yes. Yes.
What could we do better next time or do differently? I'm sorry. Because you can't rely on luck, right? You have to prepare if there's something rusted that might come off. So what could have done differently that we would prevented that thing from happening?
I can take that.
Yeah, sure.
So what they could do when they take those corrugated wall panels off, before they do that, they could stabilize the top angle and make sure all the top angles that the integrity is there and there's no failed welds, because it turns out like this particular steel member was essentially held up by the wall panel. Mm-hmm. So when they removed the wall panel, it came down. So they would just go around and maybe strap everything in place, or however they stabilize it when they put it back. So there's definitely a learning moment here.
Yeah, I think
next time
we know next time the other filters to inspect all that before we start demolition.
Is that something that we have documented as far as what should be happen next time, as you indicate that? Because 5 years from now, we're going to go to another change of trickle media, and we may not be here. So who is going to be saying, hey guys, last time they did that, this happened, we should prevent it. We should do these things so it will not happen again. Who is going to do that?
All of this is documented in the contract or in the documentation for the project, which is on Procore, including all the daily logs from our field inspector. And that would be accessible to anyone who comes down the road. If we're all no longer here when they move to the next one, that would be documented and they could look at that prior project.
So what has happened and fixes has been documented in the Procore.
Correct. And it's also documented in our engineer's structural report.
Excellent.
Yes.
And the same engineer will do the next design, so that will be baked into the design.
Sure. Great, thank you.
Hopefully, we're all still here.
Okay.
Not gonna be that long.
I was thinking about 100 years down the road. Any other question for Amy? Okay, we have a project proposal from Allentown Division, Klein Island, plastic media trickling filter rehab construction, the change order number 2 for the amount of $73,649.75.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Peter, second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Good luck.
Thank you.
Who wants to Sean?
I don't see Kevin.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Sean had departed it.
Okay. Okay, moving to the next item, Allentown Division Sanitary Sewer Collection I&I Source Reduction Program, LCA year number 2 is on salmon papers, digital page 63 to 71.
Okay, Jason Peters is gonna present this and I'll just introduce this. This is for 2 change orders that will cover the work that was in a rejected bid. A bid that the board rejected back in November at our recommendation because the cost was too high. So this is a change order to the 2 existing contracts to perform the work that was rejected back in November and at a significant cost savings. And Jason's gonna identify what that is. So take it away, Jason.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Thanks, board. Yeah, Chuck made mention definitely coming here for a change order, but I think this is one of these change orders you guys would like to hear. Again, as Chuck said, I came to you guys back in October for our first contract that you guys had authorized, which was just for the CIPP lining of mainline work. And then in November, I came for an approval for contract 3, which was capital grouting of laterals, and also a rejection to contract 2, which was capital grouting of mainline work. As Chuck mentioned, the rejection for 2, we recommended that rejection because the pricing was just out of this world high. What I did thereafter was go back to contract 1 and contract 3 contractor, which is all the same in situ form, and negotiate with them to hold their contract pricing, increase their bid item unitized bid pricing for switching out capital mainline grouting to CIPP mainline work, and then also increase capital grouting lateral work in contract 3. So I'm coming to you guys for capital authorization to increase contract 1 in the amount of $400,173.50, and to increase contract 3 capital grouting by $100,770. And this will take all of the work that was in contract 2 that we rejected, have you guys reject, and spread that work out into contract 1 and 3. Because it's important that we get that work done, clean up the mainline work. It was amazing to see the way we structured the bids for when they first went out into 3 separate contracts, receive the pricing, be able to reject what was a little bit on the high side. And when I say a little bit, way of restructuring and moving this back over in this change order, we're saving right around $3 million. So this change order work is pretty, well, I say a good change order request, because the way we did it, coming to you guys for a change order authorization to increase 2 separate contracts by a grand total of about $500,000, while we're saving right around $3 million by rejecting that second contract.
Yeah, that's shown in the table on page 2 of that.
Yeah.
So again, I'm coming to you guys for an authorization for this change order work to contract 1 and 3 in the amounts referenced in the motions here on page. If anybody has questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
How does this compare to the original engineering, estimate that I know the prior one that we rejected was way high? How does this compare to the engineering estimate?
These are like, right, I mean, we had some really good numbers in contract 1 and 3. So contract 1 and 3's numbers, the engineer's opinion was obviously a little higher. We're seeing in the market right now, things are just kind of changing for the type of work that the contractors that are in the Mid-Atlantic area that do this work. They obviously really want a CIPP line versus large scale mainline grouting work. So I'll reference back and say that the pricing we got is just astronomically good for CIPP lining. It's about all in $50 a foot. I mean, that's really cheap. It's affordable. What you guys rejected in contract two was about for capital mainline grouting was about $250 a foot. So it shows you the magnitude of the difference between the two.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What did we learn from here? I mean, this is great that we save a lot of money, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what was our internal engineer estimate for the capital grouting that we had, right? Well, whatever people say 4 million, now we're spending, $500,000, right? So it's a lot of savings here for us.
Right.
What we learn from here, the next time we want to do, that instead of, leveraging here, because we're a little bit changing, and instead of going, 3 bids, you had 2 bids and expanded the first one, second one, suddenly you have,
Right.
Over $3 million savings.
Yeah. To explain to give you an answer, I think the biggest thing that we learned are standard ways of like putting projects together, and you're looking at putting in different types of work into one big contract. It's obvious by separating these out into different work types, so to speak. Each of these are kind of like niche in their own little market for construction. CIPP lining has its own equipment, its own profession. That's what they like to do. When you start to put these into a big basket, if we would have done that for this effort, we would have been rejecting all the efforts going back out, but having it in these 3 contracts will allow us to reject one part of that and maybe move it to the other. So for the future, I think we go down this path as we've done, or put smaller, larger scale type efforts for each of these niche type of contracted works for these types of rehabilitations.
Thank you, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Just to follow up on that though, so I assume you have some criteria that would make you decide, well, we're gonna do this 1,000 feet, we're gonna line, and we're gonna do this 2,000 feet of pipe, we're gonna grout. So you have, in the design phase, you're deciding which is better, but in this case, we were still able to skip the grouting and you do the lining instead, so it was able to be.
That's correct. So a lot of those choices, to your point, Jeff, is you typically want to grout areas with longer pipe lengths, so like that 5-foot section, because you have fewer joints in between manhole to manhole run. So that's where we had first put together the capital grouting mainline work. And then for the CIPP approach, those were those 3-foot spacings, because there was just more joints to go over. Again, like I said, the pricing just came in out of this world. So it's just the way the market's shifting, obviously.
Any other question for Jason? No, okay. So we're seeking approval for the change order amendment to the Allentown Division I&I source reductions. The change order is one for the contract number 1 for CIPP lining with amount of $400,173.50. And the second change order is for contract number 3 for lateral capital grouting for the amount of $100,077.00.
So moved.
Okay, Linda made the motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
Give it to Peter.
Okay. So a motion by Linda, a second by Peter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Hearing none. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Board.
Soon we're running out of colors. We have covered all the colors. Next topic is Allentown Division, Klein Island Wet Weather Improvement. Phase 1 is the purple pages, digital page 72 to 74. Amy, you're up again.
Yeah. So as you all are aware, we're working on the Klein Island wastewater treatment plant wet weather improvement project to increase the hydraulic capacity to 100 MGE. And as part of that project, that involves increasing the pumping capacity at the main pump station, auxiliary pump station, and intermediate pump stations. And as part of our capital works plan to try to improve schedule where possible, we are looking at advanced equipment procurement where we have long lead time items. And this project was perfect for that endeavor. The motor control centers for the new pumps and the pumps themselves all have very long lead times of at least 12 months. And that 12 months is from the time of the approved submittal, not the time of issuing a purchase order. So you add in the submittals, we could be upwards of close to 2 years even with the motor control centers. The motor control centers having the longest lead time out of the equipment, and then the pumps were the second longest lead time. So we looked to do advanced procurement on these items. The pumps but each of the pump stations, there was only one manufacturer that could meet the requirements for those locations. So we reached out to Iron Horse Environmental, who reps FlowServe pumps, which were the pumps that were specified for the main and auxiliary pump station. And they are through CoStars. So we did get CoStar's pricing for those pumps. And we also reached out to Reiner Pump Systems, who is the representative for Johnston pumps, which are the pumps being specified for the intermediate pump station, also a CoStar's vendor. So we received CoStar's pricing for those items. And then we did a public bid for the electrical procurement of the motor control centers for all the main pump station, auxiliary pump station, and the intermediate pump station. And those bids, we received 2 bids. And one was Brendan Stanton Inc. and the other was Phillips Brothers Electrical Contractors. Both are electrical contractors. There wasn't a vendor who submitted directly, it was through contractors. So Brendan Stanton Inc. was the lowest bidder at $1,050,000. And then the pumps came in for the IPS pumps are $1,585,000. There's 5 pumps for that. And then the main and auxiliary pumps totaled $3,173,108. And that includes 4 pumps in the main pump station and 2 pumps in the auxiliary pump station. So a total of 6 pumps between those 2 pump stations. So the total that is being requested for this advanced material procurement is $5,808,108. And as you recall, we do have capital cost recovery charge authorization through the city of Allentown for this project. And that was received back in April of 25. The plan is to issue these POs, start the process on the advanced procurement, get submittals in, and put this project out to bid for construction sometime in late spring, probably towards the end of May, is our anticipated timeframe. So we will then get a contractor on board, and they would be the ones taking receipt of these deliveries when they arrive at the plant for them to then install. Any questions?
Any questions?
There's a lot of information.
I just have a quickie. Do we ever check the pricing against CoStar? I mean, like, or do we go right to CoStars?
We go right through CoStars. That's a state.
I know what it is. I just meant, do we go to the vendor? Have we ever gone to the vendor on our own first?
I haven't in this case, but back at the PMTFs, the plastic media trickling filters, during design, our consultant, CHA, did go directly to Brentwood for pricing on the media. And the CoStar's pricing actually came in less than what they were quoted during design. So
Because there was either in the paper or somewhere I was reading that CoStar's actually came in higher.
it might
That's
depend on
why-
what you're doing.
I know that. That's
Yeah.
why I just wondered if we'd ever done it to check ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good practice to keep them honest.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a choice in this, one, just because it was one line of pump, one manufacturer, one vendor in the area, so you're destined to go through that. But yeah, I hear what you're saying,
Just check.
keep them honest.
Just to follow up on that, I mean, my understanding is that CoStarz, in theory, the state has done the bidding for you. You can't just with these prices, in theory, you would have to go out to bid if you didn't use CoStarz pricing, is my understanding. You'd have to for that equipment,
Right,
so.
and then you would get just that.
because they're the only ones.
Right.
Right, so then it could go either way, I suppose.
Correct, yeah. I have a quick
question.
Go ahead, Ted.
Who has the warranty on the equipment? Does the electrical contract, the installer, or do we?
The warranty is with us, the purchaser. There are warranties for each of these components. And the installation itself would be on the electrician.
So if there's a problem, who do you call first, the electrician, or do you call the pump manufacturer?
I guess it depends once our maintenance department reviews what the problem might be and does their due diligence to see where the problem may lie, in how we make that decision.
So if there has to be a change out of the equipment, the electrical contractor would have to be paid for that because he's not handling the warranty.
Yes, that would have to be, yes.
Okay, as long as we know what we're doing. Thank you.
So quick question. So I assume these pumps are very dated, so you weren't able to just say, oh, we can just add 2 more pumps over here, 2 new ones and use the old ones and get up to 100 MGD, right? Everything had to be
These
placed.
pumps are past their useful life and they're the main pump station, they're vacuum prime. And we wanted to get away from that.
They're over 50 years old. I think they were like in the
60s.
Yeah, I assume so, but just for the record.
Any other question for him? Okay, seeking capital authorization for equipment procurement for the Allentown Division, Klein Island, 100 MGD wet weather capacity improvement for the amount of $5,808,108. It's a large amount of money. Okay, thank you, Debbie.
Second.
Yeah, so the motion made by Jeff and second by Linda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Okay, thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is monthly report. I'm sorry, a project update report.
Yes. So you have the monthly report in your packet, and I just want to highlight that there are a lot of items for the next meeting agenda as well. So you'll see that in the report, we've got safety presentation, election of officers which is due, monthly financials, monthly operations, and then a whole bunch of projects too. So we're going to have a robust meeting in 2 weeks to cover all of those projects and something to look forward to. I also wanted to highlight that under part 2 of the report, starting on page 6, there are a couple of project updates that you can review and let me know if you have any questions. In particular, this kind of slides into the staff comment portion of the meeting. I wanted to highlight the upper system pump station and main extension project, which is described on page 6 of the report. That is a water system project to bring water from our lower system in the upper Macungie area to a higher elevation into what we call our upper system. And be able to exchange water from the lower system to the upper system. This project is shown here as being looked at and revitalized because of the news that was announced a week or so ago about Eli Lilly. purchasing a property or investing in the Lehigh Valley. They're planning to purchase a property that's in our upper system. And so we had held on this project until we had confirmation of a user that would help us pay for this project. So that's something to look forward to in the months ahead. That's kind of all I have on the project itself, but I have some additional water comments
Please go ahead.
to make. So Eli Lilly was a big announcement, something that we've been working on for quite some time. I think Phil and I had entertained potential large users on this particular property for the last 5 years or so, multiple prospects there, and we finally landed on one that really makes sense for that property. Their water usage we've reviewed in detail, their wastewater usage we've reviewed in detail. So we're happy with that announcement, happy to bring that one to a conclusion. Kind of at the same time that all this is happening, the announcement about Eli Lilly, we're also having announcements about the need to conserve water because we're in a drought. And Andrew has reported on that in prior meetings. More recently, the water levels have been continuing to decline. We're expecting the drought to be escalated from a drought watch into a drought warning stage. Kind of surprised that hasn't happened already. But that's something that we expect will happen very soon. So our message about water conservation will go out even more so. And then
Won't the melting snow help?
the melting snow will help as long as it's not all at once. If we can have a nice steady warm up and the water can soak into the ground. Now with the layer of frost that we have, it probably won't soak in and replenish groundwater, but it can flow into surface water sources. And yes, the snow melt can be tricky. If we get a real sharp warm up and then rain on top of that, we'll have a different kind of problem. But the current weather is a compounding factor. We've had all the snow that's still on the ground is still here because it's been so cold, and it's been cold for a really long, sustained time. That's created some pressure on our system with main breaks. So we've been talking with the public about the need to check for leaks and conserve water because of draws on our system due to leakage as well. So a lot of messages going out there about water, whether it's data centers or now Eli Lilly as far as development, the drought, the cold weather issues. Taylor, our director of communications, has been on camera just about every day for the last 2 weeks talking about leakage. But I also, in that vein, wanted to turn over to Chris and ask him to just share a little bit about what the team has been facing in terms of leak response, because it's been tremendous.
Everybody, so since January 13th, just a few weeks ago, we've had 21 main breaks that we've had to repair. 4 valve replacements, 6 and 8-inch, 6 service lines, and just this past weekend alone, we answered almost 100 service calls for frozen meters, frozen pipes in homes, and water bubbling up through people's yards. Our one supervisor has accumulated over 100 hours of overtime just in this past week and a half. So the field service guys in the city particularly have been really, really swamped the last month or so. We've been lucky. We've been having some support from the suburban crew, have been able to come out when able, but we've been remarkably busy and don't see an end in sight for the next couple of weeks.
So their efforts really, really appreciated. I wanted to make sure the board is aware of that.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people on that cold day from our house. I don't know what they were doing, but I assume they were fixing some broken pipe.
Yeah.
It was a cold day. So
Yeah.
our thanks to all
They show up every time. You never get to know.
Is it all over the system or mostly in the city or?
Mostly in the city.
Yeah.
We had a few issues out in the suburban division, and it was frozen meters. But in the city, that's where all the main breaks have happened.
Any other staff comment? That's it, okay? Solicitor comment.
No comments, thank you.
Okay. Any public comment?
No comment, thank you.
Any board member comment?
I think we should comment on Liesel making the newspaper. As one, what was it, one of the most
Influential people.
There were a number of influential people in the county.
Yes.
And I think that's wonderful for Liesel and wonderful for the authority. So, thank you.
Agreed.
I mean, that really attests to Lisa, to your leadership being out there and the whole team, that they look at LCA as really a backbone of the Lehigh County and the advancement and the progress they have made. And your leadership getting team together and hiring, some good hires and making teams stronger to be ready with some of the new add-on that we're going to have in Lehigh. So congratulations, Lisa. The second comment that I have, if there's no other comment, is that it's the annual things that we are supposed to do is the election of the officers for the board. So I have asked Sean, I think Sean is not, oh, Sean is here. Thank you, Sean. Right on time, Sean, great. And Sean graciously has agreed to lead the nomination for the board offices for next year. These positions are chair, vice chair, secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, and assistant treasurer. So Sean will be calling you and asking the nomination from you. Okay? Okay, if there is no other topic to cover, let's give ourselves 10 minutes for a break.
Yep. And if any of the board members who are joining by Zoom for the executive session, if you need the link, let me know. You should have it in your email, but I can send it again if you need it.
Let's adjourn and meet again at 1:40. Okay, thank you guys. Have a great day.